Prince Harry's been lying his butt off. It seems that almost everything that he says is wildly exaggerated and it is tearing down everyone from his past. But is that true? Is it possible that he believes what he is saying? Maybe he's confused. Maybe there's a psychological principle that you're going to learn about in this video that could be partially at play. But first, let's take a look at an interview that Harry refers to as like ultra competitive between him and his brother.
It's tough enough to do a course like this on your own, with the whole world watching and a high-achieving older brother watching. Does it increase the pressure?
I don't think that's quite fair. He's doing a fantastic job. He puts himself down, but generally he is seriously well. I've talked to his instructor and stuff like that. He's doing a fantastic job. So he's just very modest about it, but he's doing very well.
I think to answer that though, I think there's masses of pressure on everyone in the forces at the moment for a start. And we're both here just doing our bit, trying to become helicopter pilots, and we're having a fantastic time. Yes, it's hard work, but everything is hard work nowadays. Yeah, sometimes there's added pressure, but you just deal with it, you get on with it. I mean, the helicopter course is a very strenuous course, but he's managed to get through it, so I reckon I can.
Yeah,
in Harry's book, he refers to this interview as ultra competitive and him being put down, but you could see his brother William is defending him, and then there's just a little mix of like friendly banter. You see a little bit of it here, but that's most of the interview. So what's going on here? The interview is on camera, and Harry's giving an account that's so different from what is filmed. Well, it is a very important psychological concept that seems to be forgotten every decade or so, and that is that memory is flexible and inaccurate, and that humans, we generally don't have things uncovered, we have things created. What do I mean by this? For example, in the past, like the 70s and 80s, there was the idea that there was multiple personality disorder. And psychologists would bring people in and say, who am I speaking with now? Am I talking to John or Chris? Say the person's name were Chris. Oh, and how would John feel in this moment? And what about Bobby? And they would take people down this path. They were uncovering these different personalities, or so they believed. And over time, people would believe that these multiple personalities had always been inside them. Then you had in the 90s repressed memories, where they would ask people, what else do you remember, and what else, and what else? And they were unrepressing all these memories of awful abuse at times, and then eventually it was confirmed that nearly all of it was false. So that is the huge thing. With human beings, our emotions, our memories, our thoughts, our feelings, they change based on influence. And that is this fallacy constantly. What has happened to Harry is Megan Markle, very likely, has influenced him and spoke to him. And we've heard Harry say in interviews things like, I never realized how things were with my family until I talked to Megan about it. So what his belief is that things are being uncovered, this sort of therapy scam. I'm not saying therapy is scam in general, but there's been a lot of very bad therapies throughout history, and there are right now. Right now you can't talk about the ones that are bad because that would be, offensive, but in 20 years they'll be really looked at as very bad. But so that's what happens again and again. When we think we're uncovering emotions, what we're doing is we're creating them, and the same goes for memory. So I would say that's a great deal of what's happened to Harry. His story and his mind and his memories have changed, and along with that, his personality and all of his relationships.